Hello, facilitators, and welcome back to another video. As usual, I'm here to show you why you're the best. My name's Marcy Melzer. I'm an intuitive speech language pathologist and natural functional language facilitation coach and consultant, and I'm here today to talk about this topic. We've got 5 tips for social events with late talkers. And I decided to talk about this today because it is the holiday time. And I know that there are opportunities that you may be declining or maybe thinking, deciding, is it okay? Is it going to be good? Should we go? Is it going to be more trouble than the value of the situation? Or maybe you're feeling pressure from the host or hostess of a social situation that you want to attend, and you're not feeling very equipped and empowered with your late talker. Maybe you're worried about their behaviors or something like that. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. I've got 5 tips for you to help you, like I said, navigate these social events. And I know lots of them are coming up. So before we get started, I just want to alert you to a couple things because always at the beginning of the video, I have your attention. So I want to remind you, of course, that I've got my functional language facilitation workshop coming up. The first one's going to be in Australia, but we've already got March of 2025 slated out to do this workshop with in Chicago in the US. So stay tuned for more about that. I can talk more about it at the end of the situation. And I also want to remind you, for those of you who are intuitive out there, that this is 12/12. We've also got a big full moon coming. So I'm going to be putting up a video on my other channel, my Intuitive SLP channel, that's more into the astrology and all of that. So I just want to remind you about those opportunities that are available now for you to learn more and, get really into your language facilitation job, right? So that's what I'm here to equip and empower you. And so let's get into the tips. Like I said, this video is about 5 tips for social events with late talkers, holiday social events. Here's what you're going to do. Okay. So tip number 1 is this. You're going to choose these holiday events. So, right, I know that you'll have these opportunities, these offers, the things you see advertised in your Facebook groups, the things you are from your child's school or your child's sibling school or your family, your neighborhood, your cultural group. Maybe you've had a Diwali situation, like a lot of these social events are coming up now. And the idea, the first tip that you have is to really choose these holiday events based on personal value, not pressure from the world. This is going to be great. Is it really? This is what you have to decide for you, is if in fact it's going to be how it's going. Here, Shah from Pakistan. Thank you for joining me today. Yeah, so these holiday events, wherever you are in the world, there's pressure around what you're doing. And so you have to explain to your child, because you've chosen this thing, even if you're deciding, I'm not sure I can or can't, or I don't want to, I want to, not so sure about all of that. You're going to explain to your child why this event is important to you. It's worth making the effort to do it well. This is going to be great. We're going to see our family. We're going to do things we haven't done for a while. We're going to get to eat this food, right? These are the reasons that you, as the adult, want to go to these social events. This is what you have to share with your child. I know you're worried about, I want to eat this beautiful food and have a chat with my sister, but you're feeling my child's not going to let me do that. My child's going to have a meltdown. My child's going to this. It's not going to be fun. And so you're worried and focusing on those things. And the first thing you have to do is get your mind out of what could go wrong into what you want to go right. Because what you're going to do in the next 4 tips is facilitate that. Because remember, as a facilitator, it's up to you to do your best. You can never make sure, you can never guarantee, right, that an event's going to go exactly like you planned. People are people. They're going to behave like they behave. You never know what's going to happen. The place could, who knows what could happen at a party, right? So what you're going to do is you're going to really, the first step, take your time with your child to talk about what is worth the effort to make it work, even though you're in and out, like maybe we shouldn't go, maybe we should go, but this is one I really want to go to. And the ones that you don't, right, the ones that are like, we're all going to this thing and do this thing over here, and you know it's the wrong time of day for your kid, you know that it's, you know, just something that the people are doing, but maybe it's not your vibe, maybe it's not your flavor of food, like they're having turkey and you don't want turkey, you know, whatever is going on. That whole situation, we're going to talk about, it's okay to maybe bypass those and pick one that you really want to go to, and then you're going to make the effort together with your child to, you know, do all of that. Okay. So yeah, we've got there. I've got you, Shy. I see your questions. Let's get into, though, these next tips. So number one is you're going to really decide, like, I really want to go to this family party. It's our holiday thing. And I want to go because I love, you know, in fact, one of the questions is I want to have the music. I want to do the dances. Like I never get to do that except for these holiday things. Once a year, we do this thing and I want to go, but I'm worried about something. So there's always something. Like I said, you're going to choose this thing based on your value of the experience. I can't say that enough, because you're going to get lots of offers to do things and you might even feel missing out. Like, oh no, we didn't go to that thing and look at those other kids and whatever. But you need to save your energy to facilitate the few events. I don't have to say one, the number of events that you feel capable and equipped and empowered to go to have a good time, and not worry about, is it going to be okay to take my kid? Okay. So here is number two. Tip number two for successful holiday social events. You're going to teach your child. You're going to practice at home. We're not worried about the yeah buts. Yeah, but my child doesn't like loud music. Yeah, but my child doesn't like food. Yeah, but my child, I know these things about my child. You're going to equip and empower your child. You want to have a good time at this thing you want to go to. So your first job with your child, after you decide, yes, we're going to this thing, is how do we show up? This is a thing where this is how the people will be there. Everyone's showing up to have the experience with their way that this event is held, goes down, usually runs. So there, you need to equip them to show up and arrive at this place in a sense of equipment and empowerment instead of fear and anxiety. Oh no, it's the crowd. When's the behavior going to happen? Like that's what a lot of parents are going into these events. But see, if you take the time ahead to prepare your child, then you can do it. So like it says here, you're going to teach them how to present themselves and greet each others who approach them, because everybody's going to go up and say hi, and they're going to start asking questions and they're going to ask them to do something. So you're going to role play party at your house before this thing with dolls and stuffies and characters and each other, to model and practice the right words at the right time. When we come in, knock, 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 okay, we're going to see Auntie's going to open the door or somebody's going to open the door, right? Remember, our job is to say, hello, we're happy to be at your house, right? Remember, we're excited to go to this party at this place and we're excited to go there. So we have to say that first. Hi, thank you. I'm excited to be here, because does it only tell your host or hostess that you're there prepared to have a good time at their event, but you're also preparing yourself as you walk in the door to have a good time at this event. You're only thinking about how to have a great time because you've equipped your child, because maybe they're afraid. So you're going to practice, hi, being just without being prompted to it's time, the right time when you show up at a party to introduce yourself, to make your entrance, right? So you're going to say, hi, I'm here, or hi, hostess. Thank you for having me. Here's my contribution, the food you bring, the present you bring, the whatever you bring to your party. We brought our table setting, even if you're only just bringing your stuff to eat. I brought my snacks. I brought my sister. I brought my mom. Because I'm ready to have a good time at this party. I'm prepared. And who am I? I'm a kid. I'm a partier. I'm ready to be a partier. And so you want to equip your child through this role play to be ready to go and party and show up telling everybody, I'm here to party. And the words that come out are the words that you would say if you didn't have to worry about this child's behavior. If you were showing up as a participant to the party, I'm excited to be here. Here is my contribution. Where is the drinks? Where are the toys? Where's the activity? Where's the music? Where's the dancing? I'm here because I talked with my mom about all the fun things I was going to experience at this party. That's why we came. And so I want to know where it is. So I'm equipping myself to say, this is what I want to play. I want to play the thing. I want to eat the food. I want to do the whatever. And you practice this with your kids before the event, so they know how to do it. Okay. Now, here's another thing. Like I said, this is just presenting yourself as I want to play. And then people are going to respond and they're going to say, well, the food's over there, or the games are over there, or this is where the kids are. Because remember, we're facilitating this host or hostess to help your child, to show that they're connected with the party, to make sure that your child is included with those things, because your child shows up and says, I like the things, I like the dancing, I like the whatever, or where's the loud thing, I need to stay away from it. That will get there too. Because the next thing you have to do, the tip number 3, is you have to review how the event's fun will actually happen, because you're just asking, where is the thing? But before the party, remember, these are tips before you go. You have to think ahead about all these fun things you're going to do. And just remember, just like how is it going to go down when we show up in the door, then how do I get the food in my mouth? How do I introduce myself to those kids? How do I join the dance? How do I listen to the music and feel more comfortable with it? Because, if we have a comment here, somebody said, my son's a late talker, is afraid of the songs in the wedding, from loud music. But is that true? That your son's really afraid of loud music? Or is he afraid of people trying to pull him on the dance floor and make him do things? Has that experience turned him off from loud music? Do you ever play loud music in your home? Does he hear loud music when he's out and around? Because a wedding can be very, everybody's dancing, everybody's yelling, everybody's jumping around. It's a lot of energy flowing around. And remember, if that's how it's going to be at the party, you've got to let your late talker know this is the time when people get loud. This is the time when people get quiet. So if you're going to a church service for the holidays, this is when we have to be quiet. You're going to a store or to view holiday decorations. These are the things that we're not allowed to touch. These are the things we can play with. This is where we have to use our eyes and talk about what we see and experience it that way. We can actually touch and climb and get on and do these things, because in the event, you see the opportunities. Let's say the food is all laid out on the table, the buffet tables, but the hostess or host wants you to wait until after the, performance is over, or a certain time, or it's not ready yet, or whatever. And so instead of your child running to the table and starting to eat food, you're going to have to let them know we're going to get there and you're going to see food, but we can't touch it yet. We have to wait for someone to say it's time to eat. And then we're going to line up with the other people to do the buffet, or we're going to sit in our chair and wait for it to be served, or however it's going to happen. You need to explain, how does the food get from that beautiful table into your child's mouth, right? How does that dance floor, how do people get out there? If there's games and kids playing with toys, how do they go and join those kids? Like, they don't know these things. Your job as facilitator of this party social experience is to know what those opportunities are. That's why you chose it. We want to do these things. We want to go to the jumpy place and jump on trampolines. We love that. And we know when we go with this big crowd of people, we're going to have to wait our turn. And sometimes we're, going to have to get, we're only going to have a limited time we can play, and then we're going to have to give it up and let someone else have a turn, or we've got to wait in line for our turn to get the food off the table, or it's going to be dark and the lights are off and there's going to be disco lights flashing, or the music's going to be loud, or all these things. You have to let them know how it's going to happen. And then when you talk about in telling stories about these things, because you remember, you chose this event because it's someplace you want to go, because you want to have these experiences, you want to eat this food, see these people, listen to this music, dance these dances, you view these decorations, whatever it is that says, yep, this is what we're going to make the effort to help our child facilitate their enjoyment. Because if it isn't fun, it isn't fun. And if you're thinking about how but he doesn't like, or yeah, but he usually does, or yeah, but he whatever, and that's going to make you stay home from the thing that your child would enjoy if you got them ready. That's what these tips are all for, you see, because you don't have to stay home from these things. It happens all the time with the families I'm working with. I tell them, you go to the library, join the library reading time, join the summer camp, join the whatever. And they're like, no, my kid keeps getting kicked out of those things. We get dirty looks when we go, and that's because you haven't done these 5 tips to prepare your child and let them know exactly how the activities of the event are going to happen. And this is really, really important tip for you. Okay. So you're going to choose your place. You're going to talk about how to present ourselves, how to greet people. Even if your child has limited verbal, you're going to show them the right hand gestures, the namaste, the fist bump, the wave, all those things to help them present themselves as, I'm here to party. I'm here to be part of this social experience, because you want them included. And remember, you can't wait for other people to reach into your child's language facilitation zone and get them to, they're hosting a party, they're teaching a class, they're running the group. It's your job as facilitator to equip and empower your child to choose to show up to these things and do the things the way it's supposed to be done at the thing, without freaking out about it. Because if they're freaking out about it, that means they're not ready. They're not prepared for what's going on. They get triggered into fight or flight, and then they're going to leave or show some behavior that you don't want to see. And we want to keep these kids out of fight or flight. Excuse me, I got to have a little drink here. Because that's how you avoid these behaviors, when a child is regulated and they understand what's going on. So this is next, okay? Tip number 4 is, it's not just about how things are going to happen. We've got to wait, we've got to whatever. These expectations are for behavior. We expect the host or hostess, leader, teacher, whoever's in charge of this event that you're going to, they have expectations. They expect expectations for how many people they want to be there, for what those people are going to wear, for how much those people are allowed to eat, for if they're allowed to run around and play or they have to sit still. These are all expectations of the event. And again, it's something else you're going to have to review and equip your child to do. So you're going to tell these stories about parties because you're going to say other people will be using these behaviors. That's what the how is. But the why is what this is, because we have to wait in line so everyone can have fun at the party. Remember, this is what you're worried about, is your child not meeting the expectations of the party with their behavior, their language, their response, what they do, how well they participate. If your social event is the school play thing and your child doesn't have the skill to stand in one place on a stage and regurgitate the song that they want the kids to sing, this is going to fail for them, right? Until a child chooses to do anything. Remember, you can't make a child do it just because the other kids are doing it, just because other people do, just because the host wants us to. Your child always has a choice about how they're going to behave, and it's up to you to let them know that in order for everyone at the party to have a good time, then we all have to meet the hosts and hostesses' expectations. We do. They expect a party to go a certain way. They've got a theme. If it's Halloween, if it's Diwali, if it's Christmas, if it's New Year, if it's whatever, they're having this party, this gathering for a reason, and they have something that they want everyone to come out of the experience with. A good time, an education, a learning, a something, right? So that's, again, storytelling about parties. You're going to talk about, remember when we go and all the people are quiet? We have to see all the people are quiet and remember that we're part of that group. We're joining the group. We have to behave like the other people because it's a social situation. Remember, when you show up at a thing and you don't consider other people's reactions, responses to your behavior, that doesn't make you very social. That just makes you demanding. And, it's not, social experiences mean everybody in their own way has a good time. So remember the expectations of what the child is doing. You're going to have to talk about this all the time. Yeah, remember, these are the quiet people. These are the dancey people. These are the people who have to wait in line because this lady likes buffet style versus serve you style. The kids always eat first. The old people always eat first. The kids open their presents first. Like, these are the things that happen. And so that's the rules they made for this party. We can only have 2 chicken nuggets. All of those things. This is what the stories will tell you, because I know you might want to have all the chicken nuggets. I know you might want to take all the cookies. I know you might want to touch each one of the pastries on the tray. But this isn't how we do this. We look with our eyes to pick the one we want, and then we can talk about it or point to it or whatever, and I will help you. Always with these expectations, you always say, this is what they want, and here's how I'll help you. This is what they need, and here's how I'll help you. Like, if all the food's there and the child's hungry, you're going to have to prepare, right? And say, it's okay if you're hungry while all the food is there, I've got snacks in my purse. Like, you can meet the expectations with my help, but we got to do it. We got to be quiet. We got to sit in our place. We got to have our whatever. You got to give them the fidget if you expect them to sit for 20 minutes listening to blah, blah, blah on the stage that isn't important to them, and you don't want to give them a video. You have to give them something to do, right? In the old days, we scribbled, or we used fidgets, or we played with our dolls or whatever, because what can we expect of these kids? We have to expect them to choose to show up to these things because, we have it going on that way. All right. So the next tip that I have, tip number 5, let me scroll down here, is to teach your child how to respond when they're struggling. So remember, we know, like you said, if you know these are the things that your child will struggle with anyway. They struggle with their, loud music. They struggle with the crowds. They struggle to join other kids, meaning they're showing behavior that you don't want to see. They're not engaged. They're not being social. They're not participating. Or they're holding their ears, they're trying to escape, they're screaming, they're laying on the floor. So remember, these are behaviors that are showing you've seen them already before, that are keeping you from going to those places, right? And that's why I put this at towards the end. It's literally tip number 5, because we only focus on those things because they're only going to come up if the other 4 things have not been done. Because if your child is not regulated, does not understand what's going on, does not have a preview of what to expect and what's expected of them when you dress them up in their clothes and take them to the place and do all this stuff, because you have to practice those things ahead. If you have to wear special clothes to the wedding that your child isn't used to wearing, you've got to practice putting those clothes on. If you are dressing them up for Halloween, if you're putting them in their swanky clothes for, they've got to wear their uniform for school, it doesn't matter. Any expectation that they have, if they struggle with that thing, that's where you have to spend time ahead knowing to equip your child to overcome that struggle, because they're going to get triggered. They've been triggered by it before. And that's how you know they've already shown you through their behavior what they struggle with. And so now you know, you know what? At this place, there's going to be loud music. There's going to be big crowds. There's going to be dark, flashy light, dark sky, dark room with flashy lights. There's going to be a lot of people dancing. There's going to be a lot of aunties talking to you and hugging you and kissing you and all that stuff, in these family gatherings and things that happen as people start consuming alcohol or whatever. They get even more unconscious in how they talk and act around people. So you don't know, right, how exactly things are going to go down, but you know what your child struggles with. That's why you've been avoiding these social experiences. So you're going to have to teach them how to respond. Like, the loud music's coming. What are we going to do? The people are coming. What are we going to do? And you plan ahead. Your snacks in your purse if they're hungry, your place to escape to. We can go sit in the car. We can go do whatever. We can have whatever. But remember, this is the last resort. You don't want to talk about what happens if I have a meltdown, because we don't even want to talk about meltdowns. You don't have meltdowns when you're equipped and empowered and regulated and not in fight or flight. So the idea about these 5 tips is to equip you to get your child ready, again, before you go to any of these events. Now, I do have one little bonus tip for you, and that is it's okay to say no. I'm not saying that you've got to use these tips and force your kid. No, we're going every single thing because this is the way I'm going to teach my kid. No. Remember, it's not about that. It's about facilitating functional, with the capital FUN, social experiences that you enjoy. So if the event doesn't turn out to be what they sold you on the flyer, what they told you in the text, what they told you was going to be, and it's too loud, noisy, expectations are too high, other people are too judgy, all of that stuff happens, there's very little that you're going to be able to do with these other 4 tips to equip and empower your child, because you're not feeling equipped and empowered as a facilitator to be there. If you don't want to be there, then go. Then just leave and just say, either you or your child, if you're not ready and excited to enjoy the host's planned experiences, because remember, it's their event, you're going to their event, right? You can host events and do all of that, but the reality is this is how you need to decide with your late talker how to choose the events that are right for you, because not all of them will be. There will be things, there already are. Even when it's a social event that's you playing at the park with your kid, or you taking them to the library, or you at the grocery store, those minor social events, and people are judging and labeling and whatever. You don't have to engage with those people. You didn't ask to go. It's not their party, right? It's the grocery store activity. It's the beach activity. It's the, park activity. You don't have to engage with those people. You just disconnect and go on your own way, because you can do a better job having a nice time. You only have so much time in your life, and you can choose to force your child into social things that they're not ready for. Parents do, based on pressure from family, from this, from that, from school, from the community, from whatever. Where are you? We don't see you at these things. And you're like, my child's not ready. And so you can wait forever for your child to get ready, or you can equip and empower them to get ready. But if they're not, it's okay to go. It's okay. Just leave because it's not worth it. It's not worth it for you. Plus, what that does is it just takes the idea of the possibility of having nice social experiences and put it even farther out of your mind. Already you're like, it happens a lot. People, I'm like, where can we go to? Can we go to a restaurant? And they're like, restaurant? We can't take our child to a restaurant. He isn't ready for that. We can't take our child to a party. We can't take our child to aquarium. We can't take our child to we can only take them to places where we can keep them in our little bubble and manage and manipulate and make and prompt and do, if we do those things, we take his board, we take his pets, we take his whatever, that's the only way we can go. And that's not helping your child, right? These tips that I gave you today, this is what's going to help them, equip and empower them to get through what's going on. All right. So if you need help, if you need guidance, you can learn how language facilitation works and plan your own functional activities. Now, I know I'm doing my big workshop, but I also have this. This is my natural spoken language facilitation interactive workshop. This experience is now 9 hours of video. I know it seems like a lot, but I've broken down the step-by-steps to get through the language facilitation. But then in the virtual autism workshop, it's all about those symptoms, those red flag behaviors, those things that you're focusing on and how to shift them, because that's my workbook, is we shift all of this behavior into spoken language. Even if your child is afraid to go to a party and they're showing escaping, holding their ears, running out of the room, screaming, laying on the floor, refusing to go in, all of those things about these social events. All of it is spoken language. There is always a reason. If it's echolalia, if it's sing-song, if it's all of that stuff, there is a reason behind it. Every single behavior your child uses is a communication they are hoping that you understand and facilitate the spoken language they need so they can shift it into spoken language, real speech that everybody can understand. And that's why when they can show up at a party using real speech that they've learned from you, or even if they're nonverbal and they're equipped to respond with their fist bump when people say, hi, how are you? And they stick out their hand, because they are prepared to respond at a distance. Like, they don't want that person to touch them. So you say, okay, fist bump, offer a fist bump, and then somebody will do it. And that's how they can have an easy thing. They don't have to look in a person's eyes, just look at their face, look at their nose, and fist bump them for a moment. That makes your child appear so much more empowered and equipped to be there at the party, show up ready to be. And you can do this as a parent, but you have to take the time to do it before the party, during the party, and even after the party. Like I said, if you have a terrible party experience, this is your opportunity not just to put it out of your memory because your child hasn't. That's why you're not going back again. Remember, I want you to feel equipped and empowered to take your child anywhere you want to go. And also so equipped and empowered that if the place is not for you, the people are not supporting you, the people are not including you and your child, like they're just allowing you to come, but they're still sticking you in the back or not responding to you or whatever, it's okay to say no to those things too, because you only have so much time and you can do better with your child. So that's what I'm here to help you figure out. I hope that this was helpful for all of you watching. If you have a question in the comments, like I said, we just have this one. If your child is a late talker and afraid of songs from loud music, this is what you have to facilitate before. Like I said, you want to go to this wedding and you have to navigate. Why is your child afraid of the loud music? Is your child music? They are, how do you know that your child is afraid of loud music or afraid of the dance situation? I don't know exactly, but you do. And that's why you are the best. You're the best facilitators, because you know your late talkers, you know what helps them move forward, you know what they struggle with, and you know also going into these parties what they expect. You as the facilitator, it's up to you to work with your priorities to make these situations feel a lot more successful for both you and your late talker. And guess what? You go to 1 or 2 really amazing, successful parties, now you're going to be hosting them and talk, because they are amazing experiences for your child to learn. They're learning from adults. They're learning from kids. They're learning from everything, because it's a great opportunity to connect with other people and watch and see how they communicate and learn from them. And maybe the uncle says a really cool thing and they pick it up, or the auntie teaches them a new dance and they pick it up, or their cousins show them how to play with a remote control car in a new way and they pick it up at this party, this social event, this whatever. And then they come home and you facilitate after the fact. Wow, you learned that at the party. Let's integrate it into your house, into your life. Let's make it functional. Let's take it to another place and generalize it to everybody and dig into the language and the storytelling about it. This is how language evolves, folks. So you don't want to stay home from these social events. You want to get there. So I hope you appreciate these 5 tips. You can get out and do it. And then again, if you are into the astrology stuff and the woo-woo, I'm going to be doing a 12/12 video over at my intuitive channel. So stay tuned, everybody, for more videos and tips and all of that stuff. I'm back on Thursdays to help you learn everything you need to be equipped and empowered as a speech pathologist. And everything you need to know is in the description, wavesofcommunication.com. Just head over there. You'll see links to all the things that I offer to families. So thanks so much for joining me today. I will see you on the next one, and bye for now. Remember, you are the best.